Have you ever eaten a totally normal lunch and then wanted to faceplant straight into the couch about 30 minutes later? That crash is not just you being tired. It's your body waving a tiny red flag trying to warn you about the way it's handling sugar. And here's the part almost nobody will tell you. Your body can actually relearn how to handle sugar by itself. And the most important changes begin in a matter of days, well before you even lose a single pound. Millions of people right now are taking medications to lower blood sugar and drop weight. But there's a different question almost no one is asking. What actually happens inside your body when you restore insulin sensitivity naturally? That's what we're getting into today. And the very first change surprises almost everyone. Not because you wouldn't expect it, but because of the reason behind it. And once you hear it, you'll be able to stop shaming yourself, which is huge. But before we get into that, let's talk about insulin for a minute, just to lay some foundation. Think of insulin as a key. Every time you eat, your blood sugar rises and your body sends out insulin to unlock your cells so that sugar can get inside them and get turned into energy. That part's simple, but when you've been eating a lot of highly processed and sugary foods for years, those little locks get sticky and the cells stop answering the door. So then your body just pumps out more and more insulin, knocking louder and louder trying to get in, but to no avail. That is insulin resistance. Your cells have basically stopped responding. And get this, there's an ancient medical system from India that saw this coming ages ago. I'm talking about Ayurveda, and the whole premise behind it is to work with your body instead of against it. Thousands of years ago, Ayurveda classified a whole family of metabolic conditions, and the way they diagnosed the worst form is crazy. They observed an important connection between two seemingly unrelated things: urine and ants. They noticed that ants were drawn to urine that was sweet, so they gave that condition a name that translates to honey urine. How they determined that the urine was sweet, I don't really want to know, but it is what it is. But then they went even further. They also noticed these metabolic conditions presented in two different ways. One kind in heavier people later in life, and the other in thin people who got sick fast. That's almost exactly how we split up diabetes today. It's pretty wild that they mapped this out so long ago, right? Okay, so at the center of all this sits one driving force: your digestive fire. Ayurveda calls it Agni, and in modern terms, it's basically your metabolism. It's the inner flame that transforms the food you eat into clean energy. When your Agni is strong, food gets broken down efficiently so that all nutrients are extracted and all waste gets eliminated. But when it's weak, the opposite happens. The food only gets partially broken down, and the rest just sits there and turns into a sticky, toxic sludge inside you. That sludge has a name too, and you'll meet it in a minute, because it's the real troublemaker in this whole story. So what happens once this starts turning around naturally? The first thing most people notice has nothing to do with the scale. It's their cravings. Now, you may have been expecting that answer, but here's the part you've probably never heard before. Cravings aren't a willpower problem. They're a chemistry problem. Within just a few days of making some simple changes, those brutal 3 p.m. urges start to fade because your blood sugar finally stops doing that roller coaster thing and levels out instead. Studies show that even a short walk after your meals can flatten those spikes in a big way. That means your energy stops nosediving after lunch, and that couch crash we're all too familiar with just disappears. Quick question for you. When do your cravings hit hardest? Afternoon slump or late night fridge raid? Drop it in the comments below and let's talk about it. Okay, by the end of that first week, something deeper is happening under the hood. Remember that sticky sludge we were just talking about? Ayurveda calls it ama, and it clogs up your system like grease building up in a drain pipe. When you stop flooding your body with junk, your digestive fire starts to reignite and ama starts to clear out. You can't see it happening yet, but your body can absolutely feel it. Now, there's an organ we need to talk about that also plays a huge role in this, and most people ignore it. It's your liver. You see, your liver is the main filter for your entire body, and it also decides whether the sugar from your food gets burned, stored, or turned into fat. When you're insulin resistant, fat starts building up inside the liver and gums up the works. But here's the encouraging part. The liver is astonishingly good at healing itself when it's given the right circumstances. Research shows that within just a few weeks of clean food and more movement, the fat stored inside the liver can start dropping in a measurable way. And as that fat in your liver clears out, your whole body's response to insulin improves. Basically, the locks get cleaned out and the keys start working again. This is also where your gut steps into the spotlight because your gut and your liver are basically business partners. A healthy gut is where a strong Agni truly begins. When the good bacteria in your gut are well fed, they help calm the whole system down and take a huge load off your liver. Remember what I said at the beginning about the biggest change happening before you even lose a single pound? Here it is. When your gut and liver start working together again, your body suddenly flips a switch and it goes from being a fat storage machine to a fat burning one. When insulin finally steadies out, your body gets permission to reach into its own fat stores for fuel. And that leads us straight into the part almost nobody understands about weight, and it trips everybody up. Most people assume you have to lose a bunch of weight before your health improves, but it actually works the other way around. Your health improves first, and then the weight just naturally follows. As the weeks turn into months, there's another really important shift happening behind the scenes. Your inflammation goes down. Inflammation is your body's built-in emergency response team. When there's a threat, it shows up, handles business, and clears out. But when that threat never fully leaves, the crew ends up working around the clock and it slowly wears everything down. As your insulin sensitivity returns, that team can finally stand down. Studies show that calming this kind of chronic low-grade inflammation is tied to a healthier heart, a sharper brain, and more years of staying independent as you age. And speaking of your brain, check this out. Your brain runs best on steady blood sugar, so when your levels stop spiking and crashing, the mental fog starts to lift. People describe it like someone finally wiped down a filthy windshield. Your thinking gets clearer, your moods get steadier, and your sleep gets deeper. This is the longevity payoff that nobody thinks about, and it's exactly why Ayurveda always treated blood sugar as a life issue and never just a waistline issue. Because once your body isn't stuck in that constant state of stress and inflammation, it stops clinging to extra waste. And that's when the scale finally starts to move. If any of this is clicking for you, like this video and hit that subscribe button. This is a growing channel, and subscribing is genuinely the biggest way you can help keep it alive. Okay, so how do you make all this happen for real? Here's the beautiful part. You see, your body genuinely wants to do this. You just have to give it the right conditions. And the cool thing is that these Ayurvedic principles line up almost perfectly with what the research is showing today. First, take a short walk after you eat. Even 10 minutes tells your muscles to soak up that sugar instead of letting it flood your bloodstream. Your muscles are like sugar sponges, and the more you use them, the more they work in your favor. Ayurveda has always recommended a gentle stroll after meals. They call it Shatapavali. Second, build some muscle. I'm not saying you need superhero abs, but you do need to make those sugar sponges bigger and thirstier. Simple things like taking the stairs instead of the elevator totally count. Or if you work a desk job, stand up once an hour and do 10 squats. That works too. Third, load up on fiber and protein. Fiber feeds the good bacteria in your gut, while protein keeps you full and steady. Together, they tame those wild sugar spikes. Fourth, guard your sleep like it's treasure. Studies show that even a few bad nights of sleep can temporarily create insulin resistance in an otherwise perfectly healthy person. Your body does its repair work while you sleep. Don't let anything get in its way. And last but not least, bookend your stressors. For example, if you know you have a stressful meeting coming up, take a few minutes to do some deep breathing beforehand and schedule some time for yourself afterwards to fill your cup. Maybe that's taking a walk without your phone or taking a bath when you get home. When you're stressed, your body dumps sugar into your bloodstream for a fight that never actually comes. To calm this down, Ayurveda leans on warm meals, steady daily routines, and slow, intentional breaths. Your gut and your liver will thank you for it. Have you noticed the pattern running through every single one of these? They all cool the inflammation, reignite your Agni, clear out the ama, and take the pressure off of your liver and gut. That's the entire game, and modern science is finally catching up to what these ancient healers worked out on their own through patient and careful observation. So no, you're not stuck, and that afternoon crash, those cravings, and that stubborn belly fat are not a life sentence. Your body was never broken in the first place. It's just been waiting on a different set of instructions, and now you know exactly how to give them. If you know someone struggling with insulin resistance, share this video with them. And if you're ready to dive even deeper into how to work with your body instead of against it, check out this video right here. Remember, longevity isn't luck, it's a lifestyle. Until next time.